In this video, we'll be making a Louis Vuitton Giant Cupcake. We start with a paper template like this one. We've got two different size templates. The large one will be for the giant cupcake and the smaller one will be for normal cupcakes. You can hand draw or trace the paper templates and then cut them out. Spread a little corn flour on your surface to avoid the cupcake sticking. Roll out some fondant, your choice of colour. We've already baked our giant cupcake using a giant cupcake mould. Lightly buttercream the giant cupcake with a palette knife. You'll see here that we've baked this cupcake for a little too long in the oven, but rather than waste the cupcake, we thought we'd make this video. To fix the cupcake to the board so it doesn't slide around, we spread a little buttercream in the centre of the board and then place the cupcake on top. Lift and drape the rolled sheet of fondant over the cupcake. Using a fondant modelling knife, slice across in the centre of the cupcake. This will allow the fondant to sink a little at the top of the cupcake and release some of the weight that pulls the fondant downwards, causing excess stretching, which will cause the fondant to crack. Using your hands, gently begin moulding the fondant around the cupcake, starting from the top and working around and downwards. It helps to lift the fondant at the bottom as you press inwards at the top. If you get little cracks in the fondant, they can gently be smoothed over with your finger to repair them. Small imperfections won't be visible at the end. Cut away fondant around the outside of the base of the cupcake. It's best to leave a little extra rather than cutting too much in one attempt and ending up with fondant not covering the cake fully. Here we are just smoothing the indents from the mould to add to the effect on the giant cupcake. Next, we change our standard buttercream into pink buttercream using a red food colouring paste. We start adding just a little of the food paste at a time to the buttercream as it goes a long way. Too much too soon and you'll end up with red buttercream. We then whisk in the food colouring paste into the buttercream using an electric whisk. Again, you can see here the overcooked cupcake top. It's fine for practicing with, even if it might not be something we'd want to serve our family with. We lightly buttercream the underside of the top giant cupcake, as you can see. We place the giant cupcake top onto the giant cupcake base. We then use a disposable icing bag and a star nozzle, and we spoon the buttercream into the bag. You can either use a pint glass as shown to aid the process. Simply hold the bag in your hand, and as you add more buttercream, roll up the sides. Don't add too much buttercream to the bag, as you'll need to be able to twist and squeeze without fondants bursting out of the top. Start popping buttercream at the base of the cupcake as shown, and type in a circular motion to place a buttercream roll. Repeat the process around the cake, gradually moving round and up to the top.
You alright? Not really.
Yeah. You can fill any gaps with a little buttercream, as you can see. We add a ribbon around the base of the cupcake and stick onto an untopped glue. Next, we'll use our paper templates made earlier to cut out Louis Vuitton lettering. This can be a little fiddly, but if you persevere it gets easier. Use a sharp fondant knife as it gets cleaner, sharper cuts from the fondant. We choose 4 different colours as you'll see. We then add the lettering to the giant cupcake. We went with 8 letters and placed evenly around the giant cupcake.
Oh, that's why he's old.
No, that's why the lights all went off.
That's what I'm saying, that's why he's old.
We can then move on to the smaller cupcakes and pipe buttercream on them as shown.
That should have fucking worked.
We cut out our smaller lettering for the cupcakes in the same way as we did for the larger lettering. It's just a little bit more fitting. By now, hopefully you've had some practice. And here we have our cupcakes and the finished giant cupcake. If you found the video useful, please do like, share or subscribe to our YouTube channel. It helps a great deal. Thanks very much.